leveling land, replanting seedlings, or planting crops using the no-till method, in other words, no disking. Just a few of the practices farmers and ranchers employ to ensure the environment continues to sustain their livelihood. But farming is much more than just growing food and fiber. It's also maintaining soil quality, protecting our waterways from pollutants and runoff, and allowing some farmland to be taken out of production to provide habitat for Louisiana's diverse wildlife. Balancing production agriculture with conservation is no simple task, and thanks to agricultural organizations like the Louisiana Farm Bureau, the LSU AgCenter, the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry, and of course the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Natural Resources Conservation Service, farmers have plenty of help protecting the land as they farm it.
There are 43 NRCS field offices across the state of Louisiana. We work directly through a state entity, the local soil and water conservation districts. There's 46 districts across the state, 44 districts across the state, and we work through them to put out these programs, to implement the different Farm Bill programs, as well as just providing alternatives to farmers, help them develop conservation plans on their farms.
Best Management Practices, or BMPs, are a set of voluntary guidelines that have been developed to assist farmers in conserving their natural resources while growing our food and fiber. Most commodities raised or grown in Louisiana have a corresponding BMP guideline booklet. Almost all of the state's farmers and ranchers utilize these guidelines, and today more and more farmers are also enrolling in the state's Master Farmer or Master Cattleman programs. A series of workshops implemented using the same principles as Louisiana's highly successful Master Logger program. The Master Farmer and Cattlemen's programs have three components: environmental stewardship, ag production, and farm management. Included in the workshops are details about the various conservation programs. The Environmental Quality Incentives Program, or EQIP, is a voluntary conservation program for farmers and ranchers to treat soil, water, and other natural resources issues on their land. In 2003 alone, more than 117,000 acres of Louisiana cropland were eligible for EQIP assistance. Another program is the Wildlife Habitat Incentives Program, or WIP. Again, it's a voluntary program for people who want to develop and improve wildlife habitat on their private land. It provides both technical and financial assistance for farmers to establish and improve fish and wildlife habitat. Since 1998, the WIP program has impacted nearly 24,000 acres here in the state. A couple of other popular programs here in the state are the Conservation Reserve Program, or CRP, where farmers are paid rental fees or utilize cost sharing in a long-term plan effort to plant resource-conserving cover crops. These crops conserve soil, water, and wildlife resources. There's also the Wetlands Reserve Program, or WRP.
Of course, Louisiana leads the nation in Wetland Reserve Program. We have over 300,000 acres, or right at 300,000 acres in the program. Very, very popular, particularly in the northeast portion of the state and some in the south central portion of the state. But it's taking out those marginal lands, those croplands that are occasionally flooded, frequently flooded. It's removing those from production so that the farmers can concentrate their monies on highly productive land and take these marginal lands out of production and put them probably in a higher, better use back into timber and that sort of habitat.
A watershed is the land that water flows across or under on its way to a stream, bayou, river, or lake. The Natural Resources Conservation Service administers projects that help rural and urban communities protect, improve, and develop the water and land resources, or watersheds, up to 250,000 acres. NRCS and local sponsors have completed 37 watershed projects here in Louisiana to date. Much of Louisiana's cropland is situated around watersheds, making Louisiana producers a vital component in watershed protection. Timber is Louisiana's #1 agricultural industry, returning about $3.8 billion each year to our state's economy. Pine trees are our primary timber product, although we grow a great deal of hardwood as well, used to provide habitat for wildlife. Timber producers have quite a long-term investment in their crop, approximately 20 years. Landowners, loggers, and foresters take measures to protect their trees from disease. They also use the latest technology so as to leave as little impact as possible on the forest as they cut or thin. And following harvest, they of course replant the trees. Louisiana's geography and topography is unique. Our vast wetlands and coastline are a mecca for migratory birds, with the Gulf of Mexico housing bountiful supplies of fish, shrimp, oysters, and other marine life. Many times, the same water that is used to irrigate our crops and water our livestock is also the same water used by wildlife. It's a balance that our ranchers and farmers must achieve in order to continue their livelihood while maintaining our natural resources.
Society demands, as you know, they want safe food, which our producers provide them. They want abundant food. We're able to do that. And they want inexpensive food. But in addition to that, they also want a quality environment. So while these farm bills, the Farm Bill does help, all of these conservation programs do help farmers do that, it still costs them. And they're the ones that society looks for to carry it out. Earth Day is every day for our ranchers and farmers out there.